You are listening to Waywut? This is a weekly rabbit hole podcast that goes into a variety of topics ranging from the supernatural to sports to science or anything else that we find interesting. We post episodes every Tuesday. We post on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Please follow us on any of those. If you prefer video, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to talk to us or keep up with any random information we decide to talk about, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever it's called, under @Waywut Podcast. That does it for all the self-promotion stuff. Thank you for listening, and here we go.
Why, hello there. Welcome to the next episode of Waywut. I have the will, and my name is Jason, and with me as always is the guy who will one day do my eulogy, Daryl Holiday.
The fuck? I try not to cuss this early. It's 20 seconds. You know, YouTube will like get pissed off for just saying the F word. God, what's wrong with you?
What? You knew this. I've told you before, and I wasn't kidding.
It's a weird way to introduce somebody.
It's an honor.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably gonna go up there and roast your ass, but you know, I'd be
so
like,
there would be specific instructions for you.
oh, I don't need no. Oh, if you give me instructions, I'm gonna make it.
There will be guidelines.
I will make it so much worse if you try that.
No, there will be guidelines, and there will be good guidelines. I could trust you. I'm not. No. Yeah. There's a reason why you're gonna be in charge of it.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to waste that material during this, but all right, weird ass.
Hey, I want you to do it.
Yeah, I know it's still just a weird way to introduce me. You're weird.
Well, I waited because this is a special episode.
Oh, okay.
Because this is episode 1 in what I like to call the life of Donkey. And Donkey is myself. And before we start, I need to you need to understand where the name Donkey comes from. One night, my wife and I, Ashley, were messing around and just bullshitting about stuff, and we were talking about becoming grandparents. And we're talking about what would be our grandparent name. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, I don't really want a lame grandparent name. I don't want to be a grandpa or a pawpaw or a G-paw. I want to be something cool and different. And I'm like, I want to be something like Donkey Doo. It just popped out of me. Like, it didn't even make sense at the time because
it still doesn't.
It don't make any damn sense. I don't know anybody named Donkey. I don't know anybody named Doo. And putting them two together was just pure magic.
I mean, technically, your dad, Dewey.
Yeah, he had Dewey. He was Duker. I mean, he had some different nicknames, but I don't know. Maybe that's where it came from. But it just came out and it stuck. I mean, hell, our Wi-Fi is named Donkey's House of Beats.
Mine's Viagra Dolphin.
Okay, you won. But in the life of Donkey, what I do on a daily basis is I'm a title examiner, and I get to examine all kinds of stuff during these real estate transactions, whether it's entity docs, like if an LLC is buying a piece of property, I get to see all their LLC docs and I get to determine who gets to sign for that company. But also get to see people's divorces, and I get to read them, and I have to, understand what they're saying. And most of the time, they're cookie cutter divorces. They're all the same crap. You just insert other people's names, and it's all the same stuff. But every once in a while, you'll come across a gem of a divorce. And what I would like to share to you is this one that came across my desk recently, and some of the crap that was said in this thing will blow your mind.
First, are you sure you would have called this Life of Donkey? Because this seems more like prying into people's personal lives.
No,
Jason.
It's a part of a series that will get us to the topic of today.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's go.
Okay. It's the way I'm going to tie the two together to tell a good story. And then I'm going to tell the topic. Kind of like you go on a rant. I'm just going to tell a story about me.
All right, let's do it.
All right. I'm going to read from this petition. It's a very old petition. It's a handwritten petition from 1985.
Oh,
It is by the guy who wrote this petition is actually an attorney. And when I say he must have been really, really mad, he was really, really mad.
I mean,
right?
if he wrote, I mean, I've composed my own divorce
Yes.
petitions before. That's a lot of pages.
It is a lot of pages.
If he hand wrote this, he had to be pissed off.
He hand wrote it, and there's a reason that I will get to at the very end
Okay.
of his petition why he hand wrote it.
She took my typewriter, that bitch. Anyway.
But it says here, starting off, this suit is brought by, then it refers to his name, who is 46 years of age and who resides at, and it blacks out the address.
Redacted.
Yes, redacted. And he goes, respondent is a transient person having her residence in a 1970 Chrysler. So, shot number one has been fired. Shot number one has been fired. He starts off little warning shot, but it has been fired. He goes on to say, respondent, who knows all, tells all, and sues all. So she appears to be very sue happy, and he goes on to list several people's names here that she has sued in her time with him. Moving on. This is, during this, he has met all the requirements of a petition. He still
listing
does
up the
right
property, addresses,
yes, he does all the
if there's
right
any
stuff.
children, stuff, yeah.
Yeah, he just puts it in his own wording. And this is one of the great ones. Shot number 2. They ceased living together as husband and wife on Monday, January 21st, 1984, when she got pissed off and hauled ass with a car, the MasterCard, and $365 cash.
Don't lawyers usually like
put that in a different way?
Respondent abandoned the household, taking these items with them instead of, she hauled ass.
Oh, yeah.
He's classy.
Yeah.
He's
super
he got
classy. Pissed off. Oh, no, it's been better. And then, and he says, shot number 3 has been fired. I welcome her leaving, having bored me stiff for 2 years about just how everybody picks on her.
Okay.
Okay. Then, he complains. He goes on and tells her, about the marriage becoming very unsupportable because of all the conflict and everything.
Yeah.
And he talks about not having good sex with her. He actually writes that in here with an exclamation point.
But she bored him stiff. He was ready. Apparently he likes them boring. I mean, shit.
Yeah, here is shot number 4. He went for the heart or the head on this one. This was a good one. All right. There is no reasonable expectation of reconciliation unless she commits to having her mouth surgically closed.
Jesus. I would love to know is it just signed by the judge and that's it? Is there a judge's signature on it?
No, this is just a petition, so it's just signed by the petitioner. So
okay.
This is not the actual order yet from the judge.
Well, typically, I know on my petitions that I filed, I had to file them with a clerk, and then it was the same thing that we ended up taking
stamped. There's definitely it's a file stamped copy. So it's got how much they paid, and it's notarized. It's a proper document.
Oh dear God! I couldn't imagine putting that in front of. I've had to deal with the Kaufman County judges. I've dealt with a couple of them during these, and
it's nerve-wracking.
Well, and I've dealt with one that just took no shit. It was just straight up, blah, 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 get the hell out of my court. And then another that, it's like, oh, hey, I was looking this over. You need to adjust this part and, make that way to make it everything nice and legal, clean on there. It's like, oh, okay, cool. But I can't imagine the one, depending on what judge you got, either one would be laughing their ass off or the other one might file contempt charges on him. He's an officer of the court. Technically, they're not supposed to do shit like that.
No. He goes on to say, there is no child born or adopted of this marriage, although petitioner swears on oath that he did everything he could to knock her up. but she isn't pregnant and won't have another child, although petitioner loves her dearly and wants her to have his children, but she is liberated now, and feminists don't have children by male chauvinistic pig lawyers, she so swears.
Oh my God.
Yeah, shots number 5 and 6 have been fired, and they have hit. And now he goes for the kill shot. At the end of it, he has a bunch of handwritten little drawings on here. I don't know if you can even see it. I don't even know what this means. And then at the end of it, he was very classy throughout for most of it. Yes, he said some things, but at the end, he like, screw all that. I'm going for the heart. I'm going for the jugular. Screw you, bitch. I filed first, and your suit is subject to a plea and abatement. Just like that. Just that's how he ends it.
I mean, I swear to God, it almost seems like he wrote it on a napkin and hurry up and got it in before she could.
Yes. Well, the act of abatement is it can be filed when a person sues for divorce, but he has not met the residency requirements. So he said that because she lives in a freaking car.
Because she's transient, yeah.
Yeah, so her petition wouldn't stick, so his petition will stick, even though he wrote it this way. And he said, screw you, bitch.
Don't fuck with lawyers. Don't fuck with lawyers.
Great. It was great. This has been saved in my file at work where I have crazy stuff I save, and this is one of them.
I would love a where are they now on him.
Yeah, I will get back with you on that.
Don't cyber stalk this guy.
Like I said, it was from 1985. It's been a while ago.
He's 40 back then.
46.
So he's in his 80s now. God, imagine if he was that bitchy back then. Imagine how Kane Tankerous he would be if he's still alive now. Some crabby.
He's probably still talking about it. Absolutely.
That bitch took off in that Chrysler. She couldn't even give decent head. Whatever it is.
I'm sure he could tell us all kinds of stuff. I also get to see death certificates, and for the most part, a lot of it is the same cause of death. Do you want to know how most of them have died?
Just natural causes, or
like this?
Dude, that's not going to work on Spotify or Pandora, dumbass.
YouTube joke only.
For those of you just listening, he closed his eyes and tilted his head like he died.
Oh man, that's a joke we've had running in this house for a long time.
Oh dear God.
But anyway, yeah, well, you were right. Most of them have died with some sort of heart disease or something, but I have seen some pretty uncommon ones. I've seen a couple of homicides that's been written on the death certificate. Okay. I've seen a couple of suicides on the death certificate. I've seen a plane crash where they died in a plane crash. I have seen one die because of a fire, being burnt in a fire. Okay. I have seen one recently where the guy died due to rejection of the liver transplant he had. Okay. That was a really different one. And the last one was a guy drowned, but the reason he drowned was he jumped off the pier and broke his neck. How? So that story of your mom and dad telling you, don't jump in the lake, you're going to break your neck. Well, apparently it's true. Jumped into yeah. But
way to bring this shit down after all that. Appreciate it.
Well,
just like, hi, my name is Jason. Here's a list of ways people die. Have a nice day. It's lovely talking to you. This is Life with Donkey. People choke to death on ham sandwiches.
Yeah.
People die from bowel obstructions.
Yeah.
Pulmonary embolisms.
Yeah.
Getting raped to death by a horse on Viagra.
That'd be a weird one.
I was waiting for something like that. I was waiting for either a Darwin Award or just some Hannibal Lecter shit.
No, a lot of them are the same. I mean, I saw one today. The guy died from Alzheimer's, which is not very uncommon, but he was 46 years old.
You're kidding me.
No. He was extremely young, and
they need to study his ass. They need to chop that brain up and look, because that's weird.
That's very uncommon.
I mean, because
there's
rare. I was sitting there listening to something the other day. There's a couple of drugs that are supposed to be hopefully hitting the market well, they're pretty far along in testing. It's not enough to cure it, but it's treatments that will slow the decline of cognition on those. 46, Jesus.
Yeah, that was a terrible one.
All right, there now I can't be funny anymore. Move on to your next stick.
You can still be funny.
I'm sad now. I'm 43, Jason. I'm 43 years old, and you're telling me about a guy that all of a sudden can't. What were you saying?
Yeah. I'm say
I mean, I used to have
it's
some really good Alzheimer's jokes. I just can't remember them.
touche. And with death, I get to see a lot of people's wills. And with like divorces, do you see some crazy wills and some of the stuff that people live in or put or what they leave in their wills and what they say in their wills? Because when they get to that point,
Give
most
zero.
sometimes they don't. Oh yeah, they give no fucks. They are gonna lay down the gauntlet and they don't really care. Now, I came across this one will. This guy is pretty crazy. He talks about having he wants all these bands to play on his at his wake. He
Oh,
wants
okay. Like
he
live,
wants
or is he okay with CD?
CDs. Now he's talking
Okay.
about like Motley Crue, Led Zeppelin, Rat, a bunch of '80s bands. He
All
wants
right.
them played. He goes into specific instructions on how he wants them played with the special organ and this violin that comes in at the end, which he think they would go good together, but that might be kinky, so you may not want to do that. And then he talks about leaving his house to some of his siblings and telling them they could be a nice whorehouse for them.
Like they're whores, or he's just being fun.
No, no, like it could be used as a whorehouse. He says no one will bother you there.
Wow,
So
classy.
he's like, yeah, here's a whorehouse. But what makes this one stand out is not just because of the strange request, is what was written on it. Not only is typed and it looks professional, but there's a lot of handwritten doodles on here where he has some common ones. You see the Led Zeppelin logo here. You see the Motley Crue logo here, but you also see a pentagram. You
Okay.
see you see 666 referenced on here a few times, and then you get to the last page, and once again you see
Hail
six
Satan.
kinda. You see 666 again, but then there are several handprints and fingerprints or like handprints on the side that are done in blood. Like he used his own blood and like stamped it with his own blood to show that it was him.
Okay, this guy sounds um unique.
Yeah, it's a
It's
very strange will because like again once
sacrifice 3 goats and burn me under a goat head skeleton, please. Wonder if he had like some grandma that came over some holy waters, like the power of Christ compels you on his casket.
oh I forgot in that petition he actually referred to his wife as the person that was in the movie Exorcist. He could have
Oh,
been a stand-in for the girl in the Exorcist movie.
Jesus.
uh,
So that's weird. I mean the doodles and stuff. It's just kind of. I mean, you just don't think about people just doodling all over their fucking will.
Yeah,
I
because
mean, it's
he took the time to type it up, and it's nice and neat. And then you get all these weird little hand doodles on the side, and written, with 666, and you see and then the Led Zeppelin logo, and then you see the Motley Crue logo, and then I'm not
what,
sure what the
what
dice
was he
mean.
like 14?
I don't know. He must have died a rocker. He has a
Yes.
dice on here. What does the 6 and 11 or 6 and 5 mean?
The 11. That's. I mean, usually that's some craps, but I'm trying to think of what you call it. Let's see. I don't know. I can't think.
I don't know. He has a drawing of that. I don't know what's significant about that.
Let's see. God, I gotta Google this. 6 and 5 dice. It is no. Nope. Doesn't have anything cool at all. I'm
Maybe he
not
could
getting any
draw
Urban
dots really well.
Dictionary stuff. Maybe it's just like craps. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's a crappy drawing of dice, but whatever.
He sounds special.
Yeah, but also seen some interesting phrases in some other wills. I've seen somebody say, "To my loser son, I leave a roll of dimes." Just
classy. I mean, that's just one of those things. It's like on your way out. I mean, I guess there's two different things. There's people that are like, you know what, it's my last chance to make peace with whatever, and this is what I'll do. And then you got people like, bye bitches, I'm out.
Like that part in the Simpson movie where he's going down the sinkhole and he's like,
or in Half Baked, fuck you, yep. You're cool,
And I see another one where a lady says, "If no one will take and care for my dog, then she shall be put down and buried with me." I thought that was very sad.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, I don't know. I mean, because here's my thinking on this: nobody takes it. It's going to go to an animal shelter, and then if it gets adopted, great. If it doesn't, it's just going to get put down anyways, and then just cremated, and just that's it, just done.
Yeah, the dog has no say so in this. Like,
no, their property.
It just is. I just felt for the dog, and I have a soft heart for dogs, but I don't know. Anyway, but that's what leads me to today's topic. Is I went down a wormhole.
We're 20 minutes in, and we're just now getting to the.
Oh yes, that's this the greatness of it.
This is a long episode. All right, let's go.
Well, that's what led me to today's topic.
I should have got something to drink.
Do we need to take a siesta?
No, but I'm going to vape.
Go ahead. It led me to a wormhole on other strange or harsh provisions that other people have left in their wills over time. Over time. So the first one I want to talk about is Leona Helmsley. She was a billionaire hotel person. She left 8 million pounds or 10.2 million to her 9-year-old dog Maltese.
Nice. What a lucky bitch.
Well, now they can't do that anymore. But they can leave money. They can still leave money to their pets, but they have to do it in some sort of trust or something.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, I'd imagine it'd have to be a trust.
Yeah, but all that money, and she's leaving it to a dog.
I mean, it could be worse. You could say bury it with me.
True.
Build my casket out of like $100 bills or whatever.
Just line the casket with it. Make a dress out of it.
Write FU on every single one, then lacquer it on there to where it can't be peeled off, and just
kind of like that wall-light horseshoe.
No, that's behind plastic. I want to rip all the plastic off that wall and steal all that money.
And next we have Wellington Burt. What do you think about the name Wellington?
Sounds British.
Proper. Yeah. He was an Michigan millionaire and lumber tycoon.
Okay.
And he called his fortune his golden egg.
Okay.
In his will, he requested that his vast fortune would not be passed on until 21 years after his death of his last surviving grandchild. So Wellington died in 1919, and the last of his grandchildren did not die until 1989. So in November of 2010, that's 91 years later, 12 people discovered they were beneficiaries of his will. They shared a fortune estimated to be around $110 million.
Who? It sounds like the executor dropped the ball there.
Well, no, that's what it said in his will. That once the last grandchild dies, then the surviving kids can get the money.
So, all right. So the great grandchildren.
The great grandchildren. So the 12 people who got it, the eldest of the group was only 2 years old when Wellington died. So none of these kids ever even met Wellington.
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 I mean,
So they inherited $110 million.
That is an eccentric dude right there. I mean, I kind of get it now. I mean, you're like, you know what? Screw all you people. I know you. You're going to do all right or you're going to do bad. I don't care. But let's see how people do like in 80 years. Let's give it a go.
Yeah. See, I couldn't tell if that was a harsh one or if that was a kind one.
It's a weird one. It's neither. I mean, you don't just weird shit doesn't have to be good or bad. It's chaos. That's all that was.
Yeah. Yeah, he wanted to stick around for a little longer, have him talked about on a podcast.
Well, yeah, I'm sure all 20 people that listen to this are really going to be interested in it.
Hey, they may look him up on the. Yeah. We're going to move on to Jack Benny. Jack Benny was a U.S. comedian, and he actually did something really nice in his will that when he died in 1974. His widow, Mary Livingston, wrote in a magazine that every day since Jack has gone, the florist has delivered one long-stem red rose to my home. She learned later that Jack actually had included a provision for the flowers in his will. One red rose to be delivered to me every day for the rest of my life.
Aww.
So.
Aww.
He's even pussy whooped in the grave.
Aww. That is nice. If for whenever my wife listens to this, no. If by chance, we're rich, I'll make sure they send you a pint of Ben and Jerry's at least once a month. There you go.
And then the guy who wins the award for the greatest name, Luis Carlos de Noronha Cabral de Camara.
All right. You don't sound like a Texan at all when you say Spanish names.
I know Espanol real good.
Oh,
Now, what he did with his money is he left his massive fortune to 70 strangers. What he did was he randomly plucked out their names from a phone book in the city he lived in. And the reason he did this was because he knew, since he had few friends and no offspring, that when he died, that his estate will go to the city, and he didn't want these, or to the state, and he didn't want his money to go to the state. Yeah, he wanted to bring it to whoever. So he gave it to 70 strangers he picked randomly out of a phone book.
He is a better man than I will ever be, because if I was going to do like 70 strangers, it would have been a battle royal to the death, winner takes all. And I would pick them randomly from like a phone book, because at least then 90%, 95% of the time, they're all going to be old enough. You're not going to accidentally throw a 4-year-old in a bloodbath. So, yeah. And then you get them all to fight to the death.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
They should do a TV show like that.
They probably do in Japan.
Probably. They got some crazy game shows. Holy crap. Harry Houdini. Harry Houdini requested his wife, Bess Houdini, to conduct an annual seance on the day of his death. This continued for a full decade. She honored the request on Halloween, the anniversary of his death. She said, Bess recalled the string of seances. She wasn't sorry she had stopped the ritual, saying 10 years is long enough to wait for any man. I guess he never. So I guess he could perform one more trick in the afterlife to show up.
Maybe she was just really shitty at seances,
True,
I wonder if he was there the whole time, sat there screaming, Hey, listen to me, bitch, listen. She's like, will you please talk to us? Bitch, I'm talking to you now. I am calling for Harry. I'm right here, you ignorant slut.
And what's Whoopi Goldberg when you need her?
Yeah. Were you always this stupid?
Oh, that's pretty damn funny.
It's like throwing shit across the room at her, and she's like, "Oh gosh, the house is getting tilted. We need to get foundation people." It's
It's
drafty.
draft.
He's like slamming doors and shit. And she's like, "Oh, if only he would just talk to me." You know?
Give me a penny.
Oh,
All right. And next is a guy by the name of Frederick Barr. In 1966, this is a man who was working for Procter and Gamble, and he came up with the Pringles on how to stack the chips, on how to stack them to make them put them in a bag. He came up with the Pringle can,
rest easy,
and
sweet prince. Please tell me he died easily.
he died easily. He passed away in 2008 at the age of 89. So he had
Okay.
a good, long, eventful life.
Right.
And his children buried his ashes in one of the Pringle cans.
Ha! Nice.
Perfect. I mean, that one wrote itself. There's no way. The next one is you actually could check this one out on the internet. His name is Jeremy Bentham. He was an English philosopher that died technically in 1832, but
Okay.
he's still hanging around the University College London. In his will, he instructed his friend, who's also a doctor, to preserve his head and skeleton, dress his remains in a suit, seat him in a chair with his cane, and display him in a cabinet or case on the university campus. So he's been there since 1850 and even has a virtual 360-degree rotatable version for those who can't make the trip in person.
That seems kind of douchey.
Yeah.
That seems like very douchey. That's like, I want everyone to look at me. You know,
Well,
I felt like as I was alive, people didn't pay enough attention to me. So, I need more people to look at me, please.
Well, I think a lot of people felt the same as you did, that he's douchey, because they had to replace his real head with a wax one, partially due to the decay and partially due to students stealing it all the time.
I mean, I think they would have done that if he was a saint or a douche. They usually don't matter. Kids are assholes.
This is true. They are assholes. See previous episode on kid killers. Link in the description. All right. Next one, Solomon Sanborn. Solomon Sanborn was a Boston hat maker who left his body to science in 1871.
Was it full of mercury?
I hope not, because what he wanted his skin to be made into two drums, which would beat to the tune of Yankee Doodle on Bunker Hill each year on June 17th.
Did they do it?
Yeah. That's strange.
That's some weird shit. Like what
Very weird
part of his skin? I mean, like I guess you do the back. I mean, that'd be enough for one drum. But like, I mean, I guess maybe around the leg. I mean, otherwise you're gonna have a belly button hole in one of your drums, and you don't want that. And you don't want nipples
No,
on it.
you don't want nipples.
You don't want nipples.
Yeah, and the
I mean,
arm hair. Yeah.
I mean, you can't do the ass. There'd be a big split down the middle. I mean, I guess if you do like the little, those drums,
The bongos.
you could do like an ass cheek for each one of those.
That would
like,
work.
Slap him in the ass, slap him in the ass, slap him in the ass.
That would work. Kind of like a little Casio keyboard, what they used to have.
Yeah.
Beat that beat makers on top. Yeah.
Beat that ass. I mean, at least he didn't ask them to turn his dick into a recorder.
Well, that brings me to the next person. No,
dear God.
No, I'm just playing. We have a Charles Millar. He was a Canadian billionaire, and he was a bit of a prankster. What he did was he promised his entire fortune to whichever woman produced the most babies in the 10 years following his death.
Oh, so they don't even get to enjoy the money then.
No. And when it was all said and done, it was split between 4 women who during that 10 years had 9 children.
All right. Look, this is one of those things where it's like, this is the same shit as those like ladies that like start squirting out kids for more welfare money.
Yeah.
It's like
or take it on more foster
money,
kids.
But you have more expenses. You have to do the pluses and the minuses there, dipshit. 9 kids consecutive children.
Yeah, she was pregnant nonstop. As soon as one
On
came
the
out, the
plus
husband
side,
jumped on.
you buy like one set of clothes and you just pass those down for like a long ass time.
For 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I mean, how much was the money?
And, it didn't say how much the money was. It just said he's a Canadian millionaire, so
Yeah,
several
but
millions of
Canadian
dollars.
millionaire, that's like fucking like $70 American, I think. I don't know the country, It's like,
Yeah,
what is that, like 7 beaver pelts or something? I mean,
maple syrup thrown in there
is that
somewhere.
like is that it's like, congratulations, you're a Canadian millionaire. You have 14 years worth of donuts, or whatever the hell, a whole team's worth of hockey equipment. There you go. I'd
Hmm.
like my change in pucks, please. You know,
Maple syrup. That's all I
and
really know.
and
Or Folsom beer.
I've got friends in Canada, and if none of them say anything to me about this bit, I'm I'm gonna be pissed because it means I know they ain't listening. Assholes. And if you are listening, I love you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I want to go to Canada. So,
I'm going next year.
yeah, you're going to Vancouver, right?
Mm-hmm. And you can come with me.
I need to get my passport.
Get your passport. Get your money.
Well, hopefully somebody will leave me some money in their will because I don't have any
Somebody
money.
pick your name out in a phone book.
I wish.
What's a
God, I don't have
phone
that kind
book?
of luck. Uh, we got two names left on my list.
All
Next
right.
one is Henry Budd. Henry Budd put a clause in his will that expressly forbade his two sons from growing mustaches. If either of his sons sprouted any kind of mustache, his share of the inheritance would be voided and revert to whichever son had remained clean shaven.
I would lock my brother in the basement for like a
Just,
month and then
just
drag his
blow
ass
that shit
out.
out.
All right. I've heard that these weird codicils that people add, like, can't grow a mustache, you're not allowed to fart in public, spend the night in this haunted house. I
You
heard
gotta
a
get a
lawyer
divorce.
I heard a lawyer can pretty much get any of that crap just completely thrown out
Yeah,
generally.
at that point, you're not in the right mindset.
But I mean, and on top of that, it's unnecessary. I mean, it's one thing if it's like something along the lines of, keep the business open or something along those lines, things that are tied to the estate, but where it's just like somebody's ego trip of like, you have to keep a tennis ball locked between your butt cheeks for the next 10 years. If it falls out, you don't get a dime. I don't think they can do that.
No, kind of hard to do. I can see why.
Yeah.
And would bring us to the last guy, and this one was probably the harshest one I've ever seen.
Okay.
His name is George S. Wolfe. His will was from 1906. And he says in his will, and I quote, "After the value of my estate has been established, 50 cents is to be paid to my son-in-law, Charles W. Wenzel, to enable him to buy for himself a good stout rope with which to hang himself and rid this mankind of one of the most infamous scoundrels that ever roamed this broad land or dwelt outside of a penitentiary."
You know, I give the guy some props there. I mean, he obviously did not like the guy that married his daughter,
No.
but I will say that is some half-ass bullshit. That dude was missing the next step. It was like, I will leave 50 cents to the douchebag for being a douchebag. Go hang yourself. Fuck you. And then I'll leave 50% of my fortune to the guy that kicks him in
And
the nuts 47 times in a row.
while he's hanging there,
Has to be in a row because that way, like, some other dude wants it and he'll go and like kick him in the balls, and then that throws the resets the number.
yeah,
So this dude's going to be spending like the next
or just
God knows how long.
steam
Yeah,
bag them.
he is going to be whenever it's done, and his balls are not going to be balls anymore. They will be circles. So
Be flattened out.
yeah, I mean, so Scott Wolf, you think you were smart, but no, you're lazy.
You were lazy, and I looked down on you.
But hey, in 1906, 50 cents, that's a lot
Enough
of money.
to buy some rope.
A stout rope.
A stout rope.
A stout rope.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't impress me. It's just, matter of fact, I'm just disappointed. I just
liked the way he was very eloquent in the way he wrote it.
He was, but I mean, like, seriously, where's the follow through? Where's the follow through? I mean, I would expect a man that has enough money to like get some stuff to happen and be a douche like that would have some nuts. I'm disappointed.
True. I wonder what he left to his daughter.
Probably not a thing, because it's just going to end up in that dude's pocket. It's one. I mean, if he did, I'm sure it's in a trust.
Yeah.
I mean, all about the trust, baby.
I don't know. I see a lot of those on the daily, and those are all boring as hell to read too. But anyway, that is the end of this wormhole that I fell down in my little Life of Donkey series that I'm going to start. And okay. I hope y'all enjoyed those stories, because there's going to be several more.
Please comment, give us some feedback, let us know what you think of the Life of Donkey. Everybody but Ashley and Jason himself are the ones that are allowed to vote on this.
Yes.
And if you have ideas for topics, you can attempt to sit there and say, this one's for you, Jason, and this one's for you, Daryl. But honestly, we'll take whatever one we want. Damn it, don't tell us what to do. But
or we can do it together.
No, ew, gross. No.
Come on, we've never done it together before.
No,
it could be nice. It could be real good.
No.
You never tried it before, though.
I like doing it alone. I like having the control.
I know. Release control, Daryl. Just close your eyes and just go with it.
No.
Just close your eyes and just go with it. Pretend you're in a different place when we do it together.
I need an adult.
Does somebody touch you in your bathing suit area?
I don't have one of my dolls in reach. Otherwise, I'd be like, show me
on the doll.
Hey, I got my Mr. Meeseeks up there, but that's just too high.
Oh, man. Well, that will do it. And until next time, we'll see you then. See y'all later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Waywut. We really appreciate it. Remember that we post episodes every Tuesday and would love for you to rate us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or Pandora. If you are watching us on YouTube, throw us a comment, subscribe, and do all the other things that YouTube likes for you to do. You can stalk us on Facebook and X/Twitter with the handle Waywut Podcast. Once again, thank you for hanging out with us for a little bit, and join us next time when we'll get you to say, "Wait, what?"